speaking about the luxury cars, right? And you having traveled abroad to review cars and all that, do we have a different perception of cars in just say Malaysia or Singapore? I think similar dynamics, as opposed to just say in Europe,
yeah,
or even in the US, maybe, right? Is the perception of cars there, or luxury cars there, very different from here?
Very different. Very different.
And I think the other thing I wanted to ask is in the sense, because my wife likes to watch some of the shows on Netflix, where it's about real estate people, or all this reality TV, and then these people drive like Porsches and Ferraris and all that, and then she's like, look at them, they're so successful, they have all these cars, blah 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 and all that. And I tell her, yeah, but those cars in the US, cost $100,000, right? And if you are earning $100,000 is not a lot of money. And if you were to convert that to Malaysia, I mean, when somebody in Malaysia drives, say, a new Mercedes, right, a new E-Class or whatnot, that kind of earning power, you could probably in other markets drive a Ferrari.
Can.
I think I'm not just saying in terms of tax. It's a combination of it's the tax, but also the earning potential of the currencies. Our minimum wage here in ringgit is similar to minimum wage in dollars, right? So it's almost dollar to dollar comparison. So I was like, if you're earning, say, 10,000 ringgit in Malaysia, most probably your job, you would earn $10,000 in the US.
Yeah.
And if the cars there are going to cost you $100,000, and the cars here cost you 400,000 ringgit, technically it's 4 times more expensive.
Of course, yes.
Here,
yes,
right? And then my wife does not drive. Okay, she's got a license, but she does not drive. But see, her assumption was, if you got a Ferrari, you're amazingly successfully rich. In Malaysia, absolutely. I mean, if you're driving a Ferrari or a luxury car in Malaysia, you got money. I think in Europe or maybe US, you're successful, but I don't know whether you are considered uber rich as what you would have to be, right? And in that sense, why I ask the question is, in that sense, I feel even the luxury cars in Europe, in US, in other parts of the world, I feel it's still a lot more accessible.
Of course.
To their masses as opposed to us. I think a simple example is, if you go out on this road now and we see how many S classes we see on the road, right? And there's actually quite a lot of S classes, right?
Yeah.
Technically, if our tax system was different, all those would actually be Rolls Royces or Bentleys, right? Because that's actually the buying power that we have here, but the way our system is set up, right? So in reality, we could also be buying those cars if the tax system was structured in such way. And I think that's why I think that's I don't know if I have a point to make, but I think it's very odd that it is looked at very differently, right? Where if you see somebody driving a Ferrari here, it's like, this guy got way too much money. Or else, and I think somebody who has a Ferrari in Malaysia, I would dare make a guess that they probably own 5 to 10 cars. And a Ferrari is one of them. Whereas in Europe and US, you could have 2 cars and one of them is a Ferrari.
And I think, what you say is right in terms of relative of the price of the car versus the buying power. It is there is that disparity. So here, if you turn up in a brand new Honda Civic, people already see you. Hey, you are on your way up.
Right.
You're on your way up.
Right.
If you turn up in a Volkswagen Golf, that's an enthusiast car. But in Germany, Volkswagen Golf is what people buy for their grandmothers. All right, not dissing it's a bad car. It's not, but it is. A Volkswagen Golf in Germany is as accessible to the masses as a Myvi in Malaysia.
Okay, I can see that.
Right. And you go to Europe, or even when I was in Australia, you can see the way people treat their cars reflect that. That time, there was a time when I was studying in Australia, right? I was observing this student reverse parking his car. It's an old Japanese car, but the car had no reverse sensors.
Okay.
So all it did was just reverse until the bumper hit the barrier. Come down, okay, pop, go. That's it. And a few years ago when I was in Paris, so you know in our town, right? Let's say like a road, you have all the parking bays marked properly.
Correct.
In Paris, all they do is by the side of the road, they just draw a line.
Okay.
How you park your car in the line is your business.
But it has to be, as long as it's inside the line.
As long as it's inside there are no boxes. It's just one line. You sumbat your car in there. That's it. So that's why a Smart 42 makes sense in Europe, because your other cars have to parallel park. Your Smart 42 can park perpendicularly and still be within the line.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think even watching all this car shows, one of the running joke always seems to be like in France, you park by touch, they say, right?
Yep. Yeah.
You basically go crawl forward until you touch the front bumper and the back bumper.
And people do that even with their Bentleys, with their Mercedes. They will just boom, boom,
okay,
boom. Okay, done. It's, in a way, it's sort of a bit like how we treat our phones. I mean, how I treat my phones. I'm a bit rough with my phones. So it's like, yes, I do spend my money to buy a decent phone, because now I need a good phone to record my videos, right? But if, say, my daughter takes my phone and drops it, I don't sakit hati one.
Okay, it's a utility. You need to use it. It's not a luxury item.
Yeah. Whereas if, let's say, like if you were to scratch your car at the parking lot, you'll be looking at that scratch for a long time. You're like,